All right, folks, so today we're going to talk about podcasting, and I'm going to get right to it. I'm going to tell you why this microphone right here is literally all you need to start a really professional sounding podcast without spending much money. So let's back up here. This is the NT USB mini microphone. It is a $99 microphone, and Rode sent it out to me. Not sponsored by them. They're not even expecting a video. They just literally sent it out for me to check out. And I plugged it in, admittedly, with low expectations, despite it being Rode, who designs great audio products. And perhaps that's just because I've been such a huge fan of the Wave microphone from Elgato. I think this is a must-have microphone, especially for people who are streamers, because of the sophisticated software that comes with it that is Wavelink, and I have talked about that software many times before. So when I plugged this in, not only was I surprised at the audio, which you're listening to right now, this entire video is being recorded on the NT USB mini microphone. It was when I installed the software. And let me pull up that software right here. It's called Rode Connect. This comes for free with Rode's software. I don't think it's as sophisticated as Wavelink when it comes to splitting up channels, but what you can do on this that you cannot do with Wavelink is actually record and add in sound effects. If you've ever looked into hosting your own podcast, you have had to look into software that not only can perhaps optimize the sound of your microphones, but also where are you going to record? And then you've got to worry about editing and all of that stuff. And for the most part, all of that comes into one piece of software here. So when you actually fire the software up, let me just quickly run you through this because I think it's really well done. It identifies your microphones. In this case, I've got one plugged in. You can have up to 4 microphones. This is huge. Again, for anybody who has looked into adding more than 2 microphones to a computer, it's very difficult. The hardware is often not built for that. There's conflicts. Finding software that can recognize all 4, that's another problem. And then you have to typically go the XLR route, which are nicer microphones, but they cost a lot more money. So unfortunately, if you have something like a Wave or another USB microphone like a Blue Yeti, those will not work on the software. It has to be Rode because it's all designed to be able to work with multiple microphones. Not every microphone is like that. And then you have channels. And this is similar to Wavelink. It's a little bit more simplified, but you've got your system audio. So if you're playing a YouTube video or you're watching something with the guest or co-host, that will all come through. And then the virtual channel. So if you are with a co-host who is not in studio, or you have a guest and they're calling through Zoom or Skype or whatever software, you can funnel in their audio to the virtual channel. And you'll do that by just going into whatever software is connecting you to, like Zoom, and you would just make sure that the speaker and the input are all running through Rode Connect. And on the actual microphone, I can plug in my headphones. I can monitor it real time. I can adjust the gain and all of that kind of stuff. But then I can also adjust it on the fly here digitally. And I can do the same for my guests. So if my guest is a little bit quiet or not loud enough, I can go ahead and I can raise their volume. I can mute them. I can mute myself from them. And you also have sound effects built in. So let's say I have an intro that I like. I can just go ahead and hit it. Hey everybody, welcome to the Tech Audit TV fake podcast. Insert cheesy joke here. And we're all applauding because we all love Brandon, right? Hey, yada, yada. Okay, cheesy sounds, right? You know, they got the sad trombone. Someone says something that's just quiet. You can kind of throw in crickets. And everybody on the show hears that. And it's all just being recorded right into your podcast. These are not things that you have to digitally add later. Now, again, these are kind of, cheesier sound effects, and you can choose to keep them, but you can also go ahead and add your own. You can change the colors of them. So if you have any files on your computer that you want to add into the show, you can easily create your own custom soundboard here. And you've got 2 pages where you can do that. They've also got this censoring mode. It's swear mode, they call it. And you can see that if I it's, I press and hold, it censors me, right? Pretty straightforward. And again, that's all built in. It actually censors me. So if I try to say words like then yeah, you get it. You get it. And then we've got trash talk. And what this does is it makes it so that when I want to say something to maybe like a co-host, or maybe I'm talking to the audience, the listener, I can mute the other guests from hearing me. So this could be useful like on a trivia show. So my co-host and I we're strategizing on something, and I can press and hold that, and the other person on the line won't be able to hear us. And then we can let go, and then they're back on. You might say, well, that's just a mute button. Well, it's not just a mute button, because if I mute my microphone, I'm also muting myself from the recording. Whereas this will still allow me to talk and be recorded while the other guests that I pick cannot hear me. So that's kind of an interesting mode. Maybe you'll use that, maybe you won't. And then in terms of, how advanced can you get with the settings here? You go up here and you go to preferences, and you can record in stereo or multi-channel. Putting that very simply, stereo takes everything coming in, the sounds, effects, the music, your different guests, yourself, and it exports it into one easy to use file. Or if you are someone who is a little bit more concerned about sound, you can do multi-channel. And what that does is when you go to export your show, every single input is its own file. But for someone who just wants to get going and just record and have something that sounds good, boom, they can hit stereo there. And then of course I can just go ahead and hit record. We are now recording. And another feature I love, and this happens a lot, you don't realize it until you start doing podcasts, but things happen on the show where maybe a loud sound happens, someone tips something over, or they say something where they're like, hey, can you actually edit that out? It's very difficult to remember when those things happen. So they have this little flag button here. And if I just press that flag, what it's doing is on the actual file, it's showing me a visible flag, and I can go ahead and flag it again. If I go over to this little tab here, that allows me to see all of the different files, and you can see that it shows where the flags are. So I know exactly where to go during the editing process if I need to edit, to take those things out or to at least analyze them to see if they affect the show at all. I can add colors to them. I can rename them. And then when you're exporting, not only can you just you can export an MP3 or a WAV file, but if you are using a particular host software, you can just have it so it exports into the ideal format for those platforms. And so that's another really just cool, easy to use feature. Now, some other things you should consider when you are, potentially purchasing this is the actual hardware and what your setup will look like. First off, this microphone works with both Mac and Windows. So if you want to have a super easy, portable setup on a MacBook, no problem. Obviously, you want to make sure that the MacBook has enough ports, or that you buy a little hub that you can plug all of your microphones into. The microphone itself has its own little stand here. And the cool thing is it's actually magnetic. The one that comes with the Wave, you've got to screw in. Maybe there's pros and cons, but it's a super strong magnet when it goes in. So you could hypothetically have this on the table. Let me go ahead and put this down. This is the height that it would be if I had it just sitting on the table and not on a microphone arm. You can see that it definitely picks up a little bit more of the background. I can obviously increase my gain so that you can hear my voice a little bit better. I can play with some things on there, but you're never going to beat having the microphone as close as you can to your face like that. So I would say definitely invest in a arm if you can. This is the new PSA 1 Plus from Rode. It's a little bit more of an expensive microphone, but it's certainly, if you're really serious and you're getting some momentum on your podcast, this would be a great investment, as the flexibility on this thing is just so smooth. It's high quality. And then in terms of hosting, there's a lot of great platforms out there. My personal favorite lately has been Anchor. And what I like about it is it's 100% free to use. They kind of take the YouTube model to where they don't charge you for any hosting. It's unlimited. You can upload as many episodes as you want. And they even give you a lot of great tools, like the ability to trim the beginning and end of your episode, or even clip in advertisements. So hypothetically, you don't even need to download any editing software to clip off the beginning and the or the end, because you can do that right there inside of Anchor. So this truly is like the poor man's setup that doesn't sound like a poor man's setup. It sounds really, really good in my opinion. Disagree with me if you want. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this microphone, but until next time, happy podcasting.